Hi.
Hello.
Hey friends, welcome to Friday night. I am here with my friend Erin from Love So Modern, and I really haven't talked about this much with any of you. There's a couple of people in the chat that knew this was coming, but surprise, we're going to do a trunk show tonight instead of sewing. So Erin is a prolific pattern writer, and when I say prolific, I mean she's got about 3 feet worth of quilts on the table over here. She has written patterns for each and every one of these. She is the face and the name behind the Radical Cassettes quilt that, I cut fabric for and still haven't started, but we'll talk about that later tonight. So she's going to show us some of the quilts that she's done and talk about some of the events that she's planning and where her quilty journey is taking her. And it's just going to be a night where you get a chance to ask us questions. We're going to answer them. We're going to show you some beautiful quilts, and we're going to talk about yellow nails.
Woohoo!
Yellow nails.
There's going to be a lot of yellow tonight.
Oh, gosh.
Because, I know, but bear with me.
I'm listening.
So the majority of the quilts I brought with me tonight, with the exception of very few, are all from my upcoming book that's coming in November. And so this is actually like a huge grand reveal because I haven't shared them all yet.
Oh, wait. You heard it here first, folks. There's a book. So,
and it's currently I think yesterday I launched it available for pre-order on my website.
Oh, perfect. So all of the details, we're going to go over lots of fun things that are going to require links. And I can't get them to you tonight right here because guess what? I don't have a keyboard in front of me. I have a pillow that I'm going to hug because that's what I do when I sit. But there will be in the description box down below. I'll put all of those links for you. And my friend Mary, who I saw was in the chat, hello, the Crafty Panda, if you could just keep a note of the links and things, just make notes for those. I'll put together a blog post over this weekend and we'll get that up on my website too. So all of the details will be in the description box down below. And there'll be a blog post posted by Sunday night that will have all of the show notes and recap. So if there's anything that you're like, oh yeah, I wanted to get that one thing, or I wanted to see that one thing, we'll have a nice clear list for you. I do have the chat up on my phone here. So I know you can't read that chat way over there. I'm going to try to fix that at some point tonight. I can't read it either, so don't feel bad. And I got glasses on, but I can read on my phone. So I'm just going to read a couple of comments. So I'll be in charge of just giving you the comments until we fix that. Great. But I want to let you know that Math Geek, her name is Shelby, says, "Hi, Erin, your Radical Cassettes pattern is super cute."
Oh, thank you, Shelby.
And it looks like there's a few others in here that were like, "Oh yeah, I love that one." We've got Pat Strawhouse saying, "Yes, I love a good trunk show."
Yay, Pat, it's gonna be fun.
Brenda Foley says, "Her shirt, right?"
All the best people.
And today we want to give a birthday shout out to Teresa from Teresa Louise I Quilt To. Today is her birthday, so happy birthday, Teresa.
Happy birthday, Teresa.
We're celebrating your birthday with the trunk show. You're welcome. All right, so how do you want to start into this? Do you want to introduce yourself? Tell them about who you are and tell them about your business, and I'll just keep quiet and listen.
Okay, sure. So my name is Erin Grogan, and my business is called Love So Modern. So I started my business. So I was working a corporate job.
Oh, I know what that's like.
Yeah, and it was killing my soul.
I know what that's
Maybe you
like.
know what that's like. And so finally, in January 2020, my husband and I made the decision that I could quit my job and focus on building my dream career full time.
Before COVID.
Before COVID, I had a glorious 1 month. February 2020 was beautiful. And then I have 2 kids.
Okay.
So I then became a 2nd grade teacher. Didn't see that coming. Like if I wanted to go into teaching.
I think we were 3rd grade teachers, so yes, we understand.
Painful. And but I carved out corners and focused on still trying to do that. And then 2021, things started really to kick off. And then last year, things really bloomed and blossomed, and I really discovered who I am. So as a quilt pattern designer, there's been nonstop exciting things ever since. This past year, I've been in Quilter's World magazine a couple of times, so that was really fun. And I've spent all of this last year writing my book.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that. Do you want to talk about what your book's going to be?
Yes. So it's called Retro Curved Pieced Quilts.
Curved piecing. And that is like how I met her, and we'll talk about that story in a moment, but continue. Retro curved pieced quilts. That's a mouthful.
It really is. So
but it flows.
It's the contract and what we had come up with was retro curved quilts. And then I found, and that's what I've been advertising and talking about it as. But then I recently found it on Barnes & Noble and Amazon, and they added a word. So now it's retro curved pieced quilts.
Well, you know what? They know the best. They know how it's going to sell. So let them do what they got to do.
It's not all pieced.
Okay.
So we'll see how long the piece stays in there. But yeah.
All right. So you've been working on this book for the past couple of years. If I want to order the book this year, sorry.
Yes.
If I want to order the book, what am I going to find inside the book? Is this like an inspiration thing? Is it a pattern book? What's inside?
So it's a pattern book. There's 15 quilt patterns.
Wow.
Well, 2 are quilted pillow patterns. I feel like
I don't think you have to qualify that. There's 15 patterns.
There's 15 patterns, and they're all retro inspired, with a modern flair. So I love everything retro, like
rainbow earrings. We've seen the Radical Cassettes quilt.
Yes.
I've seen I see one hanging on the wall that we're going to unveil in a moment. So I know this about you.
Yes. I have 2. I am a fabric museum curator in my house.
I was going to ask what that meant. And then I realized, oh, that's fancy word for I got a stash.
And the other thing I curate is stuff from like the 60s and 70s.
Oh,
yes.
Curate. We're going to start calling, like, no more stash, no more collecting, no more hoarding. Curate. That's the new word. That's the new word. You learn nothing else tonight. You learn that you tell your husbands or your wives or your boyfriends or your children that you curate. You don't hoard.
Yes.
That's totally fine. That's totally fine.
And so like I have a very large vintage Pyrex collection.
Mm-hmm.
and
Oh, wait, hold up. We got to go backwards for just a moment.
yes, please.
I'm on lunch break today
Okay.
and I'm scrolling through YouTube. I like to turn on videos that I can hear while I'm working because it tunes out all the noise of the office. When I'm
Mm-hmm.
home, I turn on like Discovery Plus or something, but at work, I can't stream that. So I just turn on like YouTube videos for background noise. And there was a video of somebody dumpster diving and literally was excited because she found vintage. And I know it's not Pyrex because Pyrex is like the baking dishes,
Mm-hmm.
but it was like China, something with a P. But when you said that, I was like,
It
oh,
could
was that you?
still be. I
Oh,
wish it was
well,
me.
I feel like it was Pyrex. Did they make plates?
They have. It's very hard to find, but there is.
Well, then
Pyrex.
maybe that's why she was excited.
There is Pyrex actual China. I have a small set of Pyrex China, but most Pyrex dinnerware is actually made by Corning.
Yeah.
But there's actual Pyrex China too.
I feel like it was
it's
Pyrex.
so hard to find.
Well, apparently you find it in the dumpster. It was a whole set. And then the next clip, it was a short. So she was like, there was one clip, she was like, I found vintage Pyrex and I was in the dumpster. And I was like, what? And then the next shot was like her, like total top end in the dumpster with the hiney sticking out and just like literally diving.
That'd be me.
Oh, well, I didn't.
It would be me.
It would not be me because I would just go to Walmart and get the Corningware.
Not the same.
But good to know you share that fascination. So, okay, so you curate all
Yes,
things
I
vintage,
curate all things
and you
vintage.
like Pyrex
And I
dinnerware.
like Pyrex. And like I have like a collection of like vintage owls and a curation of vintage snails, and you'll see that reflected tonight too.
Okay.
So yeah, and so for a long time in the beginning of my pattern journey, and I think if you go and you look at my pattern collection, I love all my early patterns, but they were designed for the masses. You know, they were designed for like, this is what I think people would like to make. It was always, my goal was always to solve problems. Like, I need a good fat quarter pattern. I need, we have panels that are just these weird small panels. How do I use those? So I would come up with patterns to solve my problems.
Right.
But then last year,
my mom just texted me and said dibs on her Pyrex. Sorry, keep going.
Can't have it. You have to pull it out of my dead hands. My mother-in-law was looking. I know. Sorry. Side note.
That's how the best streams go. Side notes, just all over the place.
Side note.
You'll get to see one or two quilts, but lots of side notes.
During pre-Christmas, my mother-in-law, my husband complains about me having too much vintage things. And my mother-in-law looks at, I had this beautiful display thing in my kitchen for my Pyrex. My favorite Pyrex is going there. And she goes, well, for Christmas, if you want, you could just give me any set of these. I just like looked at her like, no, that's not a problem that I have. That's his problem.
That's awesome.
Just like, that's cute. But back to what I was saying.
We'll see vintage and snails.
Yes,
pretty and owls. Okay.
And so so I was designing for like the masses.
Sure.
And I had a dream that one day QuiltCon will finally accept me.
Oh,
it has not yet happened.
No, but you were at QuiltCon.
Was that QuiltCon?
They allowed you to have a booth.
They did. They'll take my money.
They'll take your money. They'll allow you to come. They'll allow you to take a class. Yes. They may even allow you to teach a class.
Yes. And so I was going to make something for me, and it wasn't going to be something in the mind of having to be a pattern, but it'd just be awesome. And I was a volunteer for my son's field trip, and being on a bus for over an hour with a bunch of little kids is kind of painful. And so I brought like my sketchbook, because you know those little dot notebooks?
Yeah.
That's how I start all my design process. I always start in the dot notebooks.
Okay.
And so I just was going and going. And by the end of the bus trip, I had designed something for myself that I didn't think would be a pattern. Now I know we were going to use this, but maybe I can just grab this one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because this,
If you want to walk behind the camera,
yeah.
no, you can walk in front of it to get the quilt. But if you want to take it over and start clipping it up, I'll change the camera angle and we'll show our first quilt. And while we're doing that, I'll read a couple of comments while you're getting things set up. Oh no, I accidentally deleted Mona's message. Apologies, Mona. I fat thumbed that. I did not mean to do it. She wrote, "Me too, Cindy." So read your comment out loud since I deleted it. That was not on purpose. Let's see. Marge says, "I didn't know Pyrex is now vintage. I got heaps for wedding gifts in the 60s and I'm still using it."
Good job.
And there was somebody else in here that said, "I love dumpster diving videos." It was Stitching Crazy. "I love dumpster diver videos. They find amazing stuff." Who is this woman? Jane Terry wants to know. This is Erin. She is the face and name behind Love So Modern. She is a pattern designer and writer, and she lives not too far from me. I met her at the Fredericksburg Quilt Expo, and she was trying to sell me on curved piecing, and I bought a pattern. I'm going to change over to that. No, go back over by your quilt. We're going to show them. We're going to show them the quilt. Go back over there. So the first quilt that we're going to show you tonight, why don't you start talking about it, and they can see it now. Aha!
So this is called Chaos Coordinator. So this is the first thing that I had designed just for myself and wasn't intending to make a pattern. And it was the goal, like, QuiltCon, please notice me. Please see me. That was really the goal behind this quilt. And I have like a team of testers that regularly test for me. And I asked them, like, you know, this is what I'm working on. They said, no, you should make that a pattern. And I was like, I don't know. There's a lot happening here that I think it's just going to overwhelm and intimidate people.
Yeah.
But it actually ended up being a really successful pattern.
Okay.
And this was the project that gave me the self-permission to design just from my heart.
Isn't that funny how we have to give ourselves permission to do these things? I think that's so sad. I'm just going to do one more thing. I'm literally over here trying to fix the shot. Step in a little bit more. There you go, but your head's cut off, so we don't like that for you. We're fixing technology on the fly, folks, because that's what we do here. Anywho, so we'll do it like, I think that's good. Right there. That'll work. Okay, so that's your first quilt pattern. You designed it. They told you make it a pattern.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I did. And it was one of last year's QuiltCon rejects.
So you submitted that to QuiltCon.
I did.
Okay.
But that's okay. I felt really excited because although it was not accepted into QuiltCon, one of my customers made it and submitted it into another quilt show, Road to California.
Okay.
And it hung at Road to California.
You can come sit back down over here if you'd like. That's awesome. So we can do this lovely picture-in-picture type of thing that I'll have to fix as well. But look, we can be sitting here talking about the beautiful quilt too. So this will get smoother as the night goes on. I promise you. So that was the first pattern that you wrote.
Yes. For myself.
I feel like that was the pattern that you were like, oh, you can do curved piecing at Fredericksburg. And I was like, uh-huh. Right. Have I done it yet? No, not at all.
It's fun.
Becca.
Once you get into it, it's easy. But you gotta take the scary plunge.
Sherry says she loves the quilt. Shelly says, I made those extra wide bell bottoms with the wedge inserts 70s.
Ooh,
Disco's era was a great time for college.
Yes. Oh, I wish I got to be in college in the 70s. That sounds fun.
Tracy from the Sewing Channel is here. She said, hi, Becca. Did I hear you say trunk show and Pyrex? I love Pyrex.
You're my people.
That's awesome. Hello, Tracy. All right. Do you want to show another quilt?
Oh,
So why don't you go pick out the next one you want to hang up and hang it up. And while you're doing that, I'm going to fix this text so that we can do the picture in picture.
Okay.
And we can keep chatting. I'm going to come around here a little bit because I got to fix from this angle. Hello. You can't see me, but I can see you. Hello, hello. Let me know when the quilt is up.
So I'm changing my mind.
Okay. Hey, they're your quilts. You do it the way you want to do it.
Well, we talked so much about Pyrex that I feel like I should show my Pyrex quilt.
Okay. That works.
You know, on trend, on topic.
On trend, on topic. That works. Whatever works for you, my friend. We're going to do this bad boy right here. And then I will pull up that. One moment while I figure it all out. And then I can't really see. Yes, this way. This is what I was looking to do. This way, and then this way, which will make it easier. We'll pause this. Okay, are you ready to show the quilt?
Yes.
Dun, da, da, da.
Dun, da, da.
That is the next quilt. So what do we think about this one? Tell me the story behind this.
So this is called Positively Pyrex.
Okay, so it's Positively Pyrex.
Positively Pyrex. And they're Pyrex bowls. So for those who love and collect Pyrex, you know that the proper way to display your Pyrex is not stacked inside of each other, but raised, stacked inside of each other on top of something so that you can see all the bowls.
That's funny. That's funny. That's funny.
So like this is the way they're displayed inside of my kitchen.
Okay.
On the shelves. And so yes, it's curved piecing.
We talked about this.
I told you it was going to be there. They added it to the title. I'm sorry.
It's okay. That's okay.
And and then their raw edge applique some of these motifs. And each of these motifs are inspired by actual Pyrex designs.
Okay.
So this one is inspired by the design called Crazy Daisy.
Okay.
And this one is inspired by the design called Golden Butterfly. And I don't remember the name of this one. And this one's just, it's a stripes one, so that's pretty popular. But yeah, so
that should work.
It is that. And then it's actually quilted with the same motif as these pink bowls.
But we got to see the back.
Oh, you got to see the back.
Oh, look at that. I don't need white gloves to touch this quilt.
No, you don't. I let my kids touch them. I'm afraid. Like, quilts are meant to be used, you know?
Yeah.
So
Are these art gallery salads?
Yes, I'm so happy that you asked.
I can tell they're buttery soft.
So I would love to take a moment to say that this book would not have been possible without Art Gallery Fabrics.
Oh, really?
They sponsored me by providing me with all the fabric I needed to make this book.
Wow.
Which turns out when you're writing a quilt book, you have to make all the quilts.
I can tell. You just feel it. It's silky.
Yes. And I did not have the funds to purchase and make 15 quilts in a year.
Yeah.
So they were amazing, and they provided me with all the fabric.
I love this. This is gorgeous. I think this is I love the color palette. I love the quilting design.
You
it's
even
curved
love
piecing.
the yellow?
I even love the yellow. This is very Marsha Brady over here. Speaking of Maureen McCormick, is that a fabric line you would buy?
I would buy it. I would buy it. But here, so since you brought up the Bradys,
sure,
I can share a funny story with you.
I'm happy to hear funny stories.
So when I was submitting this idea to publishers, the one who picked me up, Fox Chapel, for some of the designs I had submitted, they kicked back to me and submitted ideas to me of what I should do, and they said, we're looking at your work and we feel like you're more Brady Bunch 70s retro and not hippie retro.
Okay.
And so which was hysterical to me, because then like a week later they sent me an email saying, we feel like you're missing a peace sign quilt. And I got really upset about this.
I know where you're going.
Yes, you do.
Let's pull it up. So They asked and you delivered?
So yes, they said, we feel like your book needs a peace sign quilt. And I got very angry when they said this because I was like, wait a minute, last week you told me I wasn't a hippie. I'm a Brady Bunch. And what's more hippie than a peace sign?
I stinking love this one. I really do.
Yeah.
This needs to be submitted to QuiltCon.
I will.
I feel like this one could do it. I mean, one of the first show places was just that big circle, right?
Yes. There's like a negative space.
It was totally negative space.
Category.
But this is kind of the same thing. I love
right.
this one. And you've quilted it with daisies.
Yes. This was really exciting for me. So I have a long arm.
Okay. I was going to ask.
But I haven't had a pro stitcher.
Oh, me either.
I just had a ruler.
Move it over a little bit so they can see it better.
Ruler work for the last, year and a half or something. But in the middle, towards the end of working on my book, I had saved up enough money that I got the pro stitcher.
High five! I'm going to Erin's house. Oh my gosh.
You bring the coffee and we're set.
Hey, not a problem. I have got quilt tops for you. I'm going to go have a seat down here for a minute.
Yes.
So talk to me about the pro stitcher.
Yeah.
Let's switch the camera angle back over to the convo area. So when you decided to pull the Band-Aid and do the pro stitcher, what do you have for a long arm, first of all?
So I have the Handy Quilter Moxie.
Okay.
So it's the
totally affordable.
It's it's the most affordable long arm with frame on the market.
Yeah.
So it's only a 15-foot throat, but that's still way more than my sewing machine.
And that is still going to do that beautiful quilt like you just saw here, right? You can still get a beautiful quilt out of that. And this is probably what we'll do so we don't have to stand next to the quilt anymore.
Yes,
we'll sit here and talk about it. So that, you can see the chat now. Can you read that? I can make it a little bit bigger.
Kind of read it.
Okay, we're going to make it a little bit bigger so you can see it. Look, I was working on the things. So is that better?
There we go. Yes.
Perfect. We're going to resize this over here.
Beautiful butterfly.
It is. It's gorgeous. All right. Love the peace quilt. Flower child. The peace sign needs to go on a Volkswagen bus, Louise says.
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I love Volkswagen buses.
That's awesome.
My photo shoot with the chaos coordinator is done with the Volkswagen bus, and that's what's on my business cards.
It is. Yeah, that's awesome.
One day I'll own one myself.
So what is the next quilt we're going to hang up?
So the next quilt is not a Volkswagen bus.
Okay, let's go get it. Now that we have everything set up, we can just get up and change things around. Grab me what you have. I'll take this one down and we'll hang it up. Here you go. We're getting in our groove. Is this top?
Yes.
Oh, I know what this is. Yes. And I got to tell you guys, like, I want to make this quilt.
You can do it.
Well, there's a whole story behind it, and I'll share it until we get it hung up.
Oh, yay.
It matches her earrings, just so you know.
It does.
There you go. Look at this. It's so great.
See, I promised you there were snails.
There are snails. And there are rainbows. Yeah. So this is a beautiful quilt. When we're looking at this one, what I see is the rainbow. And so what makes me really excited, they want to see a close-up of the stitching.
Oh, okay. Is that...
Yeah, of the other quilt?
I assume they mean this one.
Yeah, if you want to do that. What I can do is go into here. Okay. Can you, yeah, there you go. It looks good. Pull it up a little bit closer. There you go.
You can see those.
Yep. There you go.
Yeah.
And then maybe if you show, there you go, on the butterfly, they'll see it better. Better contrast. Better contrast. There you go. And then we'll just show the close-up of the stitching after we pull them off to make it easier. So talk to me about how this quilt came into existence.
So this was actually the very first quilt I designed for the book. And the first one I made for the book. So, like I shared before, that I left the corporate world because it was killing my soul. It was beyond killing my soul. I was in a very dark place. I share that whole background story on the Retro Quilters podcast called Thread and Therapy.
Oh, I need to look that up.
Yes, it's very good. The first episode. So feel free to go listen to that. I won't get into it here just because
Sure.
I don't know the audience level or what you would want.
No problem.
But very dark.
They can go listen to the podcast.
You can go listen to the podcast. And then going into my business was really the light in the rainbow at the end of the tunnel for me. And it's snails, because like snails, you're moving slow at that long distance with persistence, and I just feel like they're on a mission. Like they just look like they are going somewhere.
They're determined.
They're determined. They're on a mission, and a mission of joy. So they're my light, my little warriors at the end of the rainbow.
Yeah. So when I'm looking at them, the other thing, thinking about just your story, the other thing that I see is with the colors, they're not the bright, vibrant colors. They've got that dark overtone to them. Like that red is not a bright, cheerful red.
Yeah.
It's a sad red. And maybe it's also like a vintage red. Maybe that plays into your vintage thing. But with your story, that kind of
paints a new
it paints a different picture, yeah. And then do you want to pull it down and show them what the quilting looks like? We'll grab another quilt.
So the funny thing about this one, I had loaded this. So this is the first one I made. So I did not have the Pro Stitcher at the time. And I had loaded up on my long arm. And it is the first quilt that was going to be in the book, you know. So I had a lot of, in my head, stressing about it for perfectionism.
Sure.
And so after a week sitting on my frame, my friend she has a long arming business at the time, I asked her, what would you do? How would you quilt this? And she sent me a picture of this pantograph.
I can see it. That's very good.
And I was like, oh my gosh, there's nothing in the world that could possibly be better. It like echoes that same elongated loop.
Yeah.
So I ripped it off the frame and I said, please quilt this for me.
It's beautiful. She's done an amazing job. I love it.
They're joyful on a mission.
They are. So the other thing that people are asking in the chat, I've had like 5 comments all at the same time. The book, the book, the book. Say the name of the book. People want to know about your book. So talk to us about the name of it, where they can get it, when it's on pre-order now. Give us all the deets.
So it's called Retro Curved Pieced Quilts. You can grab it for pre-order at barnesandnoble.com. On Amazon, or preferably on my own website,
lovesomodern.com.
lovesomodern.com. And if you get from there, you'll get a signed copy.
Awesome. And so do you need help hanging that one up?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me come around and I will help you with this one.
And the book ships, the release date is November 7th.
Awesome. Where did here it is. Binder clips, you guys. They fit perfectly on the shelf.
It's genius.
It is kind of genius. Who needs a quilt hanger when you have binder clips, the large ones? Oh my word. Is this hand stitching?
It is.
My goodness. What in the world? That is okay. So she'll show you the quilting up close and personal afterwards. But back here, and I don't know if you guys can see it, they're daisies.
Yes.
So
this one is called Darling Daisies, and they're assembled like a Dresden plate, but daisy shaped.
How did you do that differently? Like you didn't use the Dresden.
No, I made my own Dresden template.
Oh, you're right there. Here, this is my look of stunnedness.
I made my own Dresden template. I love Adobe Illustrator.
I need to learn Adobe Illustrator.
I can do anything. My imagination is the only limit. So that template took me probably the longest to create out of all the templates in the book to get that perfect angle. But yeah, so it's essentially a Dresden. So in the book, I have a whole chapter on how to make Dresdens.
And they don't have to be those pointed angles. They can be rounded.
They can be rounded.
Huh.
And it's actually really easy to do. They're made with freezer paper. So
I did a whole video on freezer paper and how amazing it is.
It is amazing.
It is amazing.
It's amazing. So it's like pretty easy to do. And then yeah. So it is called Darling Daisies. And but for me, in my head, this quilt is called Grandma's Kitchen.
Ah, somebody had posted in the chat that they had a they had the I can't talk. They had a kitchen in those colors. I could see the appliances in the green.
That's so yes. Originally, this quilt was mocked up in different colors, and you'll appreciate this comment. The publisher came back to me and said, "There's too much yellow in your book." And so I was like, okay.
So she went to the next best color, orange. Only bested by brown.
I really did overcorrect. They said too much yellow, and I overcorrected and made like too much orange. But they didn't have a problem with the orange.
No, I think this reads very retro with all the orange. I think the orange does a great job with it, and I like the two different colors of orange that you have on the petals.
Thank you.
The pink, and I apologize, I don't think this is going to come through very clearly on the video or on the picture, but I can tell you in person, you can see the difference. So behind each of those flowers, you've got these rays of pink that are kind of spitting out of the block. And it's kind of almost like there's rays of light or rays of sunshine coming away from the daisy. When you're looking at it on the video, it doesn't look like that's the case, but just heads up, like in person, this quilt is much more beautiful than what you can see on the picture.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
So, so I came up with the new color palette by looking at pictures of 1960s kitchens.
Ah, see, we've got people there. My grandma had a fridge that color. We had a fridge that green. Harvest Gold refrigerant. Lots of people are doing this right now. This brings back the junior high and high school days, Louise says. So you hit it spot on. Way to go. Way to go.
That's what I was going for.
Let's get another quilt.
Yes, let's do it.
This is fun. With just all the steps we're getting in to take the quilts up and down. Wished I had a third pair of hands. Or fourth, maybe a third and fourth.
I should have brought a friend.
Oh, that's okay. This is totally fine. Here you go.
Thank you.
Want to take that and I'll hang this up?
Oh, and I got to show them.
Oh, the stitching. Show them the stitching while I hang up. We'll get our groove.
So, let's see. It's big stitch quilting with 8-weight thread. See if you can.
That is a good segue.
There you go. And there's a whole chapter in my book on big stitch quilting.
Okay.
And so you'll see that pop up a few times.
I'll fold if you want to talk to them about this one.
Awesome. So this is called Retro Blooms. And it's my take on a retro flower.
I see cathedral windows.
Oh.
Look at the blue in the middle, right across the middle stripe. I see a cathedral window, but I also see a flower. The flower's going up and down with a rainbow in the middle.
Yes.
And I see hand stitching.
Yes. So yep, it's all big stitch quilting. And then so this is the second quilt I made.
Okay.
And so I was just did ruler work on my long arm, and I call this improv ruler work. So I just had a curved shaped ruler, and I just kind of kept going around it and rotating and just doing whatever. So it was a lot of fun. I just had a lot of fun playing.
It looks great. Do you want to give them a close up of what the quilting looks like?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that back. It's got pineapples. That's awesome. So fun.
And then
yep, they can see it.
Here's the quilting. And then you can see in the petals, I did a lot of just like improv, just kind of whatever. Had fun with it. Yeah.
Stitching Crazy says, so all of these are in the book?
Yes.
Okay.
Every single one.
People are asking again, who is the guest? The guest is Erin Grogan from Love So Modern. She is showing off quilts that are in her upcoming book that you can get on her website at lovesomodern.com. These are all her own designs, 15 patterns in the book, and she is doing a lovely trunk show for that one. You want to hang this one up? I'll help you.
Yes. And the book is in the goodies section of my website, not patterns. I wasn't sure where to put it.
Oh, that's great. Other way.
Yes.
Here, you grab the top. Oh my gosh. If Ian were watching, this is the one I want to make.
Oh,
I don't.
my son's claimed this one. He's like,
Really?
I want that quilt. Okay. When it's done being shown off.
Oh my gosh, you got to show them the binding when you're showing the stitching, because that binding is awesome what you did.
Thank you.
Look at this.
So this is double rainbows.
Jeez. It's a double rainbow. What does it mean?
And yeah, this one, it was more of plain, because, so this is one of the things where they came back and they said, we feel like you need a rainbow pattern.
Yeah.
Even, I guess my rainbow snails didn't count.
Yeah, I could see that. Like they looked, at first when I saw it, I thought it was rainbows. And then when I saw the snails go up, I was like, oh, it's a snail quilt with a hint of rainbow. This is a rainbow.
This is a rainbow. And so they said we want a rainbow pattern in the book. And I felt like there's a lot of rainbow patterns out there.
Yeah.
So what can I design? What can I make that is different enough to be worthy of another rainbow pattern, right? And so then I came up with this one, double rainbow, and it's not like your traditional curved rainbow. It's playing on, like, you know how when the rainbows come through the window and reflect off of the walls and stuff and kind of make those angles. So that's what this one is.
It looks great. And I'm looking at the quilting pattern, which we're going to have to show them the quilting when we get up. But I do see the cathedral window in the quilting pattern.
Yes.
Do you like cathedral windows, or is this just me picking them up because I need to make one? I don't know.
I think I do. I love this quilt. What is it called? I know the name of this. This quilting motif.
Oh, I don't know what the quilting motif is called, but I'm sure somebody in the chat will be able to tell us. I just know I can make. How did you do that? Well, we'll talk about that once you show the quilting, because I feel like we're leaving the audience out if we go there now. But yeah, so when you put this together, I'm looking at it and I don't see very much curved piecing on this one.
Not that much.
Yeah.
So it's the only curves in it are drunkard's paths, and and it's a big enough size drunkard's path. So the larger the drunkard path, the easier it is to sew.
Thank you, because I've been having a hard time with a small one, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. It's hard to get them all to line up. So the bigger the drunkard's path, the easier.
Yes, and so this one, it was meant to be an easier approach pattern, kind of like dip your toe into the concept.
I could dip my toe into that concept. And I feel like I like to think that patterns are suggestions to start, and then you take it and make your own spin.
Yes.
And so you've only got the 5 colors up there, but if you wanted to make that all of the colors of the rainbow, you have kind of the measurements, or you can just repeat it. I love that.
Yeah, it would be really easy to add one more row to get that.
Patterns available. The patterns are all in her book, which you can get on her website, lovesewmodern.com. And if one of the moderators could just type the link for that in the chat, www.lovesewmodern.com. Make sure to put the HTTPS as well, so that they can actually click on the link. And we'll keep pasting that throughout the evening. So yes.
And the pre-order for the book is under the goodies shopping section.
Let's put up the next quilt, and I'll just go get the link for it and make a command. How about that? You hang up another quilt, I'll do some tech stuff.
I think I can handle that.
Love it. I love it. Orange peel. Somebody said orange peel. That's what it is. Thank you.
I love orange peels, because Chaos Coordinator is really just an orange peel.
Yeah, I could see that.
Twist on an orange peel. It's a deconstructed orange peel. Oh, we want to just show the binding on the
you want to hold that up.
And this is one I did with my proud stitcher, my new best friend. And so it's a big stitch binding. I'm so bad at figuring out like where I am in the screen.
Oh, okay. You're okay. We see you.
So
we see you.
Can they see the binding?
They can.
So it's all like X's here, and then it goes into a straight. And usually I would do big stitch binding on the back, but I couldn't miss an opportunity for rainbow variegated thread to be shown off.
Here, I'm going to give this to, Mary, I am texting you the link to the book. So if you could just have this handy and drop it in the chat when people ask for the link. I also put it in the chat so people can see it. Thank you, Mary. Okay, I gotta move this out. Oh, there's the button. It's hard to see with that ring light blinding me in the face.
Vision check.
Vision check. Yeah, I'm blind. This is the top?
Yes.
Okay. Yep, you're good. Pull it down a little bit more. There you
This
go.
is a
Oh
big
my
one.
gosh. Okay, my sister has a fascination for owls.
Yes.
And she would absolutely love that quilt. So she has got like all things owls. And I think, oh my gosh. I love this one. This is great.
Thank you.
This is great. So talk to me about talk to me about the quilt that you got here.
Yes. So, hoping that it gets to keep its name, but we'll see. It's called, I've named it Strawberry Field.
Oh, that's great.
With, a nod to the Beatles.
Strawberry fields forever.
And the owl. So I collect owls. And so I had to have an owl in the book. You often will see owls, and for some reason paired with strawberries in a lot of vintage decor.
Okay. I am resizing things so that they can get a better shot. Like, the technology never ends on this end. I am sorry. It's just the way life is for me. I'm always trying to make things better. And since I'm a one-person shop, I'm like, oh, that needs to be resized. There wasn't a way to test or dry run any of this before you got here because I didn't know. In fact, we didn't even decide that we were going to use these chairs until she showed up. I was like, I was thinking about what if we use the conversation area to sit and chat, and then we can hang the quilts up. So this is all of like figuring out.
Show with the
I just feel like I'm being very clunky.
We're all having fun.
We are. Teresa McBrayer says hello. So Tracy from the Sewing Channel says this is darling.
Oh, thanks.
Love the owl. Oh, the Owlette fans will go nuts, says Sheila. It's something we love about you, Becca. Oh, thank you, Heather. I appreciate that. Question mark. Lots of owls in the 70s. Also mushrooms.
Oh, I got you there.
Uh-oh.
I got you. I got the mushroom fans covered.
Well, before we get to the mushrooms, talk to me about the owl. So I see strawberries, which I was going to say I thought they were watermelons. And I knew I was wrong.
Well,
I knew I was
you were wrong.
I was like, no, that's not a watermelon. I saw the red and the black, and I was like, oh, but there's something different. And then I got it when you said strawberries.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. That's a fair. If you're going to get it wrong, I think watermelon is a great alternative.
Yeah.
But it's all traditionally pieced, with the exception of the flowers in his eyes, which are raw edge applique.
Okay.
And if you don't want to make an owl, and you love avocados, making just the eye and then putting it on a tote, it is the most perfect avocado.
Oh.
I can't.
Now I'm hungry.
Right? We need some guac up in here.
Chips and guacamole.
Yeah, so that he's inspired. Like, there's so much vintage owl everything, and then these are a little bit of a nod to, if you're familiar with stuff from the 70s, Sears had very popular collections of canisters and kitchenware. One of the most popular ones was the Mary mushrooms, which we'll talk
apparently
about.
We're going to mushrooms soon.
But they also had a strawberry collection too, and so there's a picture in my book where you can see it with the strawberry canisters.
Heather said that could also go with deviled eggs. I could see you making a deviled egg out of those eye shapes.
You really could.
Yeah.
And that was a very popular appetizer to bring to parties. So it's still on theme.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Um, Somebody said your guest is hard to hear. Take your mic and put it down right underneath your chin. Just move it down a little bit. Maybe that'll pick you up a little bit more.
How's this?
It looks like it's reading fine for me, and it looks like we're both coming in at the same input levels.
Good.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
All right. If we continue to have problems with it picking up your audio, we'll try and tweak that later, but just let me know if you can hear her, okay? Okay. No guac until Cinco de Mayo. Psh,
Psh.
psh.
Every week.
Every day.
Oh, if I could.
All day, every day.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's pull up the next
one.
quilt.
So I feel like we're ready for
Avocado toast.
avocado toast. I think we're in the mood for some mushrooms now.
All right, let's do it. Oh, you got to show them the stitching. I'll hang that one.
Yes.
Show me the top. I'll figure it out. Mushroom. Oh, well, this one's easy to figure out. Mushrooms up. I've never in my life heard somebody say, mushrooms up. Come on. Mushrooms up.
And then I feel like we need a close up of this owl's face.
Oh, this is a big one.
These, I think, are the two largest ones in the book.
Okay. By the way, did you see my owl on my shelf?
I did. I was admiring the cutie. Yeah. So I'm trying to show an eyeball, and I'm struggling.
There you go.
Here we are.
Yeah. So we have got some mushrooms here. I'll help you fold. Mushrooms hanging up. Talk to us about the mushrooms while I fold.
Oh, well, before I do it, I'd love to say thank you to Christy P. She just said that she subscribed and pre-ordered the book. So
awesome.
Super shout out and thank you.
You got a new addition to your newsletter.
Yes, which comes with a free pattern, by the way.
Go get that.
Pattern. Go get your free pattern.
That's right.
So this is Marvelous Mushrooms.
Okay.
They're quite marvelous.
They are marvelous. They are something. And wait a minute. Oh, there is curves. I was gonna be like, there's no curves. There's curves.
This pattern has the least curves.
I see that. And you know what? I don't need to make those orange ones then.
You could skip them.
Just negative space.
Negative space, or throw in some little daisies, or repeat the other little guy on the end on the top there.
I love these. I gotta say though, the one in the upper right hand corner.
Don't say it. What?
It looks like the mushroom guy from Mario. I'm like, wait, that's Toadstool.
Listen, that's cool. It's on trend. The movie just came out.
There you go.
I'm just trending.
Yeah.
It really does.
There you go. There you go.
But I'm happy that that's what you thought of, because when designing, I knew I wanted a mushroom quilt.
Right. Okay.
But it's really, really hard to design a mushroom that doesn't look like inappropriate things.
Yes.
A lot of the pantos.
Oh my God. I didn't see
do
that.
Do not look like you can't find a mushroom panto that's appropriate.
I did not see that until you said it. And now that's all I can see. Thanks.
But I worked really hard. I think I achieved it.
You did.
I did pretty good.
But you chose the wrong color for the stems.
Okay.
I mean, depending on what your goal was.
I'm not going to argue with you. I could have gone a little paler or something.
That's awesome. So we've got a few new
me.
people in the chat. They're asking who you are. This is Erin Grogan from Love So Modern. She is doing a trunk show for us of 15 different quilts that she has in her new upcoming book, Retro Curved Pieced Quilt. You can pre-order it on her website at lovesomodern.com, and Mary will drop the link in the chat for you. Lots of people are thinking the Super Mario thing, though, so... Jane Terry said that she is hunting for an asparagus pattern. Do you have one in your stack?
I
mean, it's green. It's on trend.
Asparagus pattern. However, the name of the green fabric I used is called asparagus.
Well, maybe that's why she's looking for the pattern now, because she's seen so much green. She's like, oh.
She's got it.
Oh,
Yeah.
I need this. I need this.
Close call. Close call.
The close call. That's absolutely true. What about making them applique? Teresa McBrayer says.
Yeah, you totally could make it applique. So actually, in the book, I give instruction on how to do raw edge applique.
Okay.
So if you wanted to change out some curved pieces with that, you got the templates already in the book, and you could do that.
I really want to see the peace sign at QuiltCon. I'm just going back to that one.
Let's put that into the universe.
You're like, at the end of this show, that's what we're going to ask you. If she were to enter one quilt into QuiltCon, which one would, out of all the ones that she showed you, what would be your pick? Right now, I feel like I'm feeling that peace sign.
And it's so funny. So I don't think I finished.
Or the double rainbow. Oh my goodness. Now I can't pick.
I don't think I finished telling this story. So, oh no, I did.
No, tell it again.
Well, I'll tell a little bit more because I didn't tell the whole thing. So the peace sign quilt.
Mm-hmm.
I was so mad because they had said, no, you're Brady Bunch, not hippie.
Right.
And then they went and asked me to make a hippie quilt. I was like, what do I do? I was so angry. So that was actually the last quilt that I made. And I didn't want to make it. I was putting it off. I even tried to take it out of the book a few times, but they kept noticing. Darn them. And so I finally pieced them, and it's actually currently my favorite quilt in the book. I have it hanging up on my wall. It's my, like, I love this quilt.
Yeah.
And it's hysterical to me because I was trying to rebel so hard against this quilt.
And now it's your favorite.
Now it's my favorite.
Isn't it on the cover of the book too? Like you have a picture of you in front of it.
I do. I've been using that picture a lot. So the cover of the quilt right now is the Snails one, but it's a temporary cover.
Ah.
The publisher said they might change it between now and then. We'll see.
Okay. Okay.
They got 6 months. They
You've
can figure it
gotten
out.
several
Thank you.
pre-orders. Mary, can you pre-order one for me too, please? Thanks. You have the power. Okay. Does she have a YouTube channel? So I know you're pretty active on other social media. You want to talk about your social media?
So I am very active on Instagram. So you can find me there at Love So Modern. I do have a YouTube. It is not very big right now. It's very small. But my goal, so once I finish this book, actually, that's what I want to focus on all next year.
Let's do it.
And mine is all, I wanted to just all educational videos.
Let's do it.
So yeah.
High five. I'll help you.
Thank
no problem.
you.
No
I
problem.
love you.
I'm not going to do educational videos.
Exactly.
I started with that. I thought that that's the type of content I needed to make, but over the years, what I've realized is I just want to do more personality, more inspiration, more sharing, just like who I am and what my journey is. So I really use this as a platform just to like build a community, not necessarily educate. I want to share what I'm doing, my pros and tips and things like that, and leave the educational thing to other people, because educational videos take a lot of work. They really do. I want to focus more on the entertainment aspect of the quilting world rather than the teaching. I do want to teach, but I want to keep that to in-person or on Zoom type of instruction. It's really hard to teach somebody when you can't see what they're doing.
I know. So the way my business is broken up, the biggest part is my patterns, and the second biggest part is education. I love teaching.
Oh, me too.
It's amazing how you can impact other people's lives. So I was just in Florida for a quilt show that I got to teach at, and my last class I was teaching was Intro to Curves. You should have come.
Oh, well, you can come teach me here.
Yes, I can. And this woman was falling behind and really struggling in the class. And just a few minutes into it, she got up and she was like, I'm just holding everything up. I'm just gonna leave because I'm just holding you up. I'm holding the class up.
Oh no.
And I was like, oh no, it's fine, because I give them instruction and then I walk around the room and help them. I can give them the instruction and then I'll come and we'll check in with you and I can show you and we'll work. If you're a step behind, that's okay. I can still come over to you. There's the time for it. It's fine. And so she's like, okay, I'll try it out. And then at the end of class, she came up to me and she was like, my husband just passed away and I haven't quilted in a few years. and I'm starting to try to quilt again as something to do for myself. And just, you were so kind, and just like what I needed is like, that's why I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
Like that right there is the whole reason for me of why I drove all the way to Florida.
Yeah.
Like it just made the trip for me.
I feel like when I'm teaching, my go-to is I want to make sure that nobody feels left behind in the class.
Yeah.
And that might mean that we give everybody a 10-minute break while I sit and work with somebody who might be a couple steps behind. And it means that I'm going to repeat myself a whole bunch.
Yeah.
Because I want to make sure everybody hears and understands, and not everybody comprehends the first time around, and not everybody comprehends the same way.
Yes.
Right? You've got to meet them where they are. And when you've got a class of 30, 40, even 5 people, if you've got 5 different people in a class, you've got 5 learning styles there,
Yes.
right? Some people are just going to want you yell out the instructions. Some people are going to want to see you do it and then absorb it. Some people are going to want to do it step by step alongside of you. So you've just got to be prepared to accommodate all of that. And for that reason, making the YouTube videos for me is a little bit more difficult because I got that 9 to 5 job, right?
Yeah.
So but I think that's, I mean, if you have the bandwidth to do it, lean into it. See what it does.
Yep. So that's what I really want to do. And then like my chaos coordinator pattern comes with about 4 hours of video tutorial, which is because like walk your hand in hand, help you make it.
Yeah.
So that is, you can find my YouTube at Love So Modern. You can follow it now, and over the next few months, now that I'm done with my book,
there you go.
you can find a whole bunch of videos.
I'm going to ask Mary if she could YouTube search for Love So Modern on YouTube and grab the link for that channel, and just make a little comment with the link to her book and a link to her YouTube channel as well, and put that in the chat. So if you guys are interested in getting to know Erin more, and as she's building up her YouTube channel and putting content out there, you'll see it if you subscribe now. Be one of the first.
You'll be one of the first.
Let's push to get her to 1,000 like right away.
That'd be exciting.
That would be exciting.
But yeah, and then where you can find me the most now again is my Instagram. I'm on there.
Love So Modern.
At Love So Modern on
Love
Instagram.
So Modern, and I am not. All right, let's put another quilt up. So we're going to go to, while we're hanging that one up, we do have a couple comments in there, but that's true. Shelly Clark says there's always going to be a Tiffany. Tiffany is a good friend of mine. She sews super fast. There's always going to be a Tiffany in a class that sews fast. You have to learn to let them go and not compare yourself to them. That's right.
Absolutely.
Teresa McBrayer says, and if you have someone in the class that excels, now you have a teacher's helper. I learned that lesson really quickly at I have a quilt retreat in July that I go to every year with some friends.
Oh, fun.
And I taught how to make just a vinyl project bag, but the room is sectioned off. Oh, looks like you've got this one on your own. Yes. Don't forget to show the quilting on the mushroom.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
When I was teaching this, I had to break it up into the left side of the room and the right side of the room. And so I quickly found that it was easy to find somebody on the left side and somebody on the right side that understood what I was doing, what the next steps were, and was working fast, and then delegate to them and allow them to teach. And so I was teaching them while they were teaching the smaller groups, and that worked out amazing.
That's awesome. I'm going to show this from the back.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, they can see it. Yep, we'll get you a nice close up in there. So go ahead if you want to bring it in closer.
And then, so I like this because usually I always pick really blendy in thread. But for this one,
in thread.
Yes, blendy in, new term. I'm giving you all the new terms tonight. But this one I went with orange.
I love it. Yeah, hold it still. Yeah, there you go. I think they can see, especially on that white over on the right. They can see. There you go. Yes. Lots of pre-orders coming in on your book tonight, it looks like. So awesome.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so this one behind you, I think this one behind you is also another candidate for a Quilt Con quilt.
Thank y'all.
My friend Ian has a small quilt that's hung up. It's a wall quilt and it features curves. This reminds me a little bit of this. Louise says, this one reminds me of the CBSI, only sideways. I could see that.
I can see
especially with the quilt pattern that you have in there. Now you're never going to unsee that. You're never going to unsee that.
I have to hang it sideways.
No problem.
So this one is just, if you look at art and design from the retro era, there are no hard lines.
Okay.
Everything is all soft lines. If you even look at a TV, a retro TV, it is not a box. It is like,
Yeah, it's curved. Yes.
right?
Yes.
And so that was kind of where this came from. Is I did a lot of, so this one and the next one I'll show you is I was just studying a lot of the art and the furniture, and everything is just so rounded.
Yeah.
And so that's where this one came from. This is called So Mod. My husband says that I need to send a picture of this one to Oprah.
I was actually thinking Oprah when I saw it.
Right?
Like, because it's all O's, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So he calls this my Oprah quilt.
I could see that. Nicely done. Because so when I'm looking at it, some people are saying they see cat's eyes, but what I see is the letter O.
Yeah.
Right? So if you look at the block in the upper left portion, it looks like an orange letter O.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah. It looks like a bunch of O's.
Yep. So in my mind, the title is So SOOOO. Mod.
Oh, okay. So one time we spell so appropriately.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
it looks like the quilting that you have in the middle, which we'll show a close-up of in a minute, those remind me very much of a Dresden.
Yes. So it's like a Dresden flower. This quilting I'm actually really, really excited about.
Okay.
So I told you I only recently got the Pro Stitcher, and I was just doing ruler work. But really, I've been doing like Echo ruler work.
Yeah.
This is the first quilt ever that I didn't just do Echo ruler work. And it was a ruler that you had to rotate.
Yeah.
Like I had just been watching YouTube videos over and over and over from Handy Quilter on how to do this, and was intimidated.
Yeah.
But then I finally ordered their jade rulers set, and it came. And I was like, well, you spent the money.
I have
Let's
just
do
started
it.
getting into, and I'll show you mine, but you can't laugh at it.
I won't.
I have just started getting into intentional quilting, which is what I think you feel like you've been doing on some of these, right?
Yeah.
You have a confined space and you want to stitch in that space a specific design that goes with the theme of the quilt.
Yes.
I had been, since I bought the long arm, just doing all over edge to edge designs, and it's okay. It gets the quilt done for sure.
Yeah.
The quilt can still be used. It's still lovable. It's still cuddly. I still love quilts that have that.
Yes.
But I start getting bored with my edge to edge because I'm like, what am I going to do? I guess I'll just do a loop. I guess I'll do an all over meander. And when you can start to mix up those designs a little bit and you play with the elements of the quilt, you get a whole different result.
Yes.
So I have a quilt rack. My quilt rack over here that you've been walking past, that holds all of my unquilted tops that have to go on the long arm. And so what I've been trying to do this year and vlogging my progress in my Tuesday videos is how I'm quilting, what I'm doing, and trying to get some of these done. And I'll show you here, and I'll show the camera too. I did show this on a Tuesday video, but just so you can kind of see. So this is my most recent attempt.
Oh, yes.
But
yes.
this is not, so when and I'll show you on the camera in just a minute, but I'm showing Erin in person.
Feathers.
Yep, this is my first attempt at feathers.
Really?
Yes, my first attempt. Yes, my first attempt at feathers. Other than the scrap fabric that was on the. Well, actually, no, that's not true. I lie. This is my second attempt at feathers. My first attempt was a half feather in the borders of this.
Aww.
So while you're looking at that, I'll go show this one over here. So this is the quilt that I've been referring to in my vlogs as Feathered Stars. And what happened with this one, Art Gallery Salads, by the way.
Oh, yes.
What happened with this one is I wanted to just do a feather in all of the points of the stars. And then when that was done, I felt like I still needed to keep doing the feathers, so I did it in the borders as well. So it's, yeah. Big lawyers.
Oh, thank you, Kathy.
I don't know what that meant. Okay, so let's show them the quilting for this one.
Yes, yes.
We've been talking about it. They've not been seeing it. So let's show them what you have done. Get this up nice and close. You want to hold that end?
Yes, yeah.
So I feel like
So it's like
you
a
can
Dresden daisy.
Yeah.
And then I just echoed in these, I guess, another orange peel shape.
Yeah. It looks great.
Thank you.
It looks great. Here you go. All right, so this is the pile that we have done. Is this one next? Or I think we did this one.
We said we were going to show that there's one that we were.
Oh, this is the double rainbow. I think I put it up here. Yep. I'll put it
It's the red one there on top.
This one?
Yes.
Is this the dreaded? Is this the one that's gonna beat me up?
I don't think you'll want to make this one. Let's see. I think that's the top.
This is. Just hand me a corner.
Yep. There you go. Here's your corner.
Oh, this is my corner. Okay. Just hand me a corner.
Don't put Becca in the corner.
That's a QuiltCon worthy quilt.
Thank you.
You have a thread.
Oh,
I'll fix it.
bummer.
I got snips.
Yeah, snip it away.
I got snips. They're multiplying.
Ooh, yes, Grace.
Uh-oh. I just cut your quilt. I'm kidding. I broke my snips. They went the wrong way.
So this is further of my study into
Okay, when I step back and look at this, I love this one.
right?
Yeah.
It's one that really shines like when you step back.
Yeah.
Kind of like the TV. It's kind of like the shapes of the TVs.
I was gonna say it looks like TV.
Yes. So this is like I was really studying the kind of shapes and elements and motifs that were used in the fabric and on like I have this cup, this retro vintage cup I collected at antiquing that has similar shapes to it. So it's
people love this one more than
more than the peace sign.
Yeah,
really?
she started seeing the comments and she was like, "What?
What?"
I read what was happening there. This one reminds me of the Jetsons cartoon. I love that gold color. Love this one more than the peace sign. That's beautiful. That's amazing. Beautiful. This is my fave, I think.
Oh, wow.
I think this needs to be submitted for QuiltCon.
Okay.
Like this is now my favorite.
The audience has voted.
This is now my favorite. It's minimal, but there's still a lot going on.
Yeah.
You were studying the shapes. Finish your story.
Yes. So I was just studying the shapes and motifs that were used in design at the time, and that's where this inspiration came from. So this is called Retro Stars.
Sharon says it reminds me of mid-century modern art deco style.
Thank you. Yes, that's what I was going for.
The teal looks like a floppy disk.
Oh, you're right.
It also looks like one of those old like cameras.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm currently working on
definitely read 16s that looks like cameras.
Polaroidy.
Oh yes. Oh, we need to talk about that. Oh, it's going to be curved.
It is.
I'm going to have to learn how to do curved piecing if I want to make these.
Teach you.
I love it. This is great.
Thank you.
And you know what's really nice? You've got the rounded soft edges and those stars.
Offset it.
Yeah, they do.
Their sharp points offset the round.
They do.
Thank you.
Lots of sparkle.
They are. They're glistening.
Definitely read 6. It's like a Polaroid. Stitching Crazy said. Let's show them talk to us about the stitching and we'll show it up close.
Sure.
What did you do this on your Pro Stitcher?
I did.
Okay.
And yeah, I just did on my Pro Stitcher. I don't have anything cool to say about it.
Kind of echoed the same type of shape.
Yeah, it's kind of the same.
See if we can get the.
I was trying to get that same story going with.
There it is.
With the
shadows are not playing nicely with us today, but you can kind of see the shapes. It's the same type of shape that she has here.
And the way that the kind of loop and come together, I was trying to tell that same story.
That's great. Here you go.
Thank you. And this is a fun backing fabric.
It is. All right, what's the next one?
Yes, your hands were on it.
Oh, this one?
Yeah, let's do that one.
Okay. Which one's up? Oh, I like the back.
This is top.
Okay, top left?
Yes, red in top left.
Okay. Wiggle your butt, wiggle your butt, wiggle your butt. So I was hanging out with my friend, go ahead, with my friend Donna on her on her Zoom yesterday
Oh,
evening,
fun.
and she had it, she was broadcasting it onto her channel. And when I was in Vegas last week for a work conference,
Yeah.
Vegas, okay, Vegas has all the things, but one of the things was like back it up, and I was like, I can't get this song stuck out of my head. I don't know who it's by, and I don't know what the song is. And so somebody in the chat was like, "Oh, it's Wobble Wobble," and I was like, and I was like, "Oh, that's the song." So now that's still stuck in my head, but at least I know what the song is. So if I'm singing Wobble Wobble Baby, that's why. Not because I've been anyway. Whatever.
Love it.
Oh no.
So this one is called B-side.
Oh my gosh. Listen, wait a minute. I did not even see the quilt until just now.
Really?
Yeah, like I was so
You're
preoccupied with Wobble Wobble Baby Wobble. Like didn't even see it. Oh, that's gorgeous.
Yes, 45s. So this one's called B-side.
Okay, so I want to know who now says that this is their favorite.
Let's see.
We'll see.
Anyone?
And I love the stitching on it, the quilting on it, and I like everything about this one.
Thank you. So each record has a different star quilt block on
They
it.
do.
And because the musicians are the stars of the era, right? They tell the story still today.
Yeah.
And I was not a cool kid.
Me either.
Good.
I had two friends. It was fine.
You know,
They were both imaginary.
Quality over quantity.
Well, if your imaginary friends dump you, then you got bigger problems.
You got bigger problems. And so I was born in the 80s, but I really grew up in the 90s, and I listened to records.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I had. Too. That's what I had in my bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
Was a old record player and all my mom's old records.
Mm-hmm.
So to this day, I've never been up to music trends or music. I have no idea what's current. Current stuff comes on, and I'm just like,
when Zoe was born, that's where I went because I didn't want to listen to top 40 when she was a baby in the car. And then she wanted to hear her music, which was all Disney songs.
Yep.
And so several years went by and I was like, yeah, I don't know any of these people anymore. Like the big ones, I know who Adele is, right? Like I know the big ones because they're like A-listers, but don't talk to me about the one hit wonder. Like I couldn't. Yeah. You know what's bad is when you turn on a station and a song from like 1985 comes on, they're like, hey, that's an oldie. I'm like, nah.
Stop it.
No, it's not.
That's the only ones I know the words to.
I'm not that old. Honor Cobb says she still loves the Snails.
Oh, thank you.
Somebody did post in the chat and I saw that, said, I can't stand it. That's in the book. Is this in the book?
It is.
It's in the book.
It's in the book.
Patterns in the book.
Patterns in the book.
Patterns
the
in the
book is full of all good. It's just all goodness.
That's gorgeous. So the records, those are Drunkard's Pass blocks?
They are.
Those
and
are
then the teeny
ones.
circle is raw edge applique because no one wants a piece of that.
No, I understand that. I understand that quite well. And this is another one too where the straight, sharp edges help to offset the curves.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's a nice balance.
I love it.
And they're coming out of the sleeves the correct direction.
Yeah. I don't have anything else to say. I'm just in awe. And you know, the other thing that I've noticed, all the quilts that you've shown us tonight, I mean, we kind of touched on this earlier because you were talking about how art galleries sponsored your book, right?
Yes.
They provided you with all the fabric to make all the quilts, all of the fabric. You could have gotten prints from art gallery, but you chose solids.
Yeah. They were like, are you sure you don't want any prints? And I was like, well, I want prints for my backgrounds and bindings.
Yeah.
But solids are timeless.
And you can always get more of that
color.
color.
You can always get more.
Yeah.
And that's why I chose solids.
Yeah.
Now, Art Gallery is amazing, and they're not a company that only prints a line once.
Right.
Like, if people still want it, they keep printing it.
Oh, really?
So you can get, like, collections for years to come. So that's one of the amazing things about Art Gallery.
I did not know that.
Yes, it's what I love. So I got, last fall, I got to go to Art Gallery. Yeah.
Well, that sounds fun.
And it was to this day, one of the highlights of my life.
Okay.
And I got to go and walk through their warehouse. I met every single person who worked there.
Oh,
They're a small family-like team. The atmosphere is so uplifting and positive. Like, I love them so much.
yeah.
And I got to walk through the warehouse, and like they have all the collections, like as long as the designer is like still signed with them, they keep the collections. And so that's one of the amazing things. But their pure solids
Oh, I love them.
are my favorite solids on the market.
I cannot agree more. So, and I love all of their fabric. I like the way it feels,
Yeah.
but there's something different about their solids. And Riley Blake solids, I'll use them. Moda Bella solids, I'll use them. Like Kona, like I'll use all of those. But there's something about the art gallery solids. They're like butter to me.
It's
Several years.
because
Oh, okay, I'm listening. Yes.
so it's a higher thread count,
Well, we knew that.
and it's
I
technically a poplin. Am I saying that correct?
I think so.
So it's technically not a quilting cotton, but it's a quilting cotton. So, and it has such a high thread count that like it doesn't fray when you're using it. So that's one of the great things, especially when you're working with a lot of curves. You don't have a lot of that stretching problem you do with the bias because there's so much higher thread count.
Oh.
So I love them, and
They
they
don't
don't
fray as easily.
fade. Is that they just say that? Yeah, they don't fade. I never have had them bleed in the wash. Like when I reached out to them and asked them if they would sponsor the book, they responded back with, "Why? Why? What? Like,
Why us?
why us? Out of all of them, why?" And I just like wrote back this love letter to them about why I think they're the best.
And they said yes.
And they said yes.
That's awesome. Several years ago, I decided I wanted to do a quilt along on my channel. My channel was brand new, less than maybe 1,000 subscribers, or maybe I just passed 1,000. And I decided I was going to do this gingham quilt following a tutorial from Fat Quarter Shop, free
Oh, fun.
pattern. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do that, but I'm going to make it bigger because I want it to be like queen size, right?
Yes.
And so I was making it for my husband as our wedding anniversary / birthday gift kind of
fun.
combined. And I chose art gallery solids for it. I chose a really dark charcoal and a light gray and a white, and I just kind of used that to make that gingham type of check. And I fell in love with them at that point.
Yeah.
And then I used a lot of them during the pandemic to make masks because those were the fabrics. It was the art gallery solids and batiks were the ones that when you were making the cloth masks, I felt like I could still breathe in.
Yeah.
Anytime I used like a Bella solid or a Moda fabric, as gorgeous and fun as they might have been, it was so hot inside, but with the art gallery and the batik, it wasn't as hot. I won't say
Yeah.
it was like fresh air, but it was a little bit easier to breathe in those.
And probably better, friendlier on your skin too.
Oh yeah, it was like butter. It was so soft. Well, I think the art gallery was better than the batik, but yeah, it was really soft. And I've been thinking about using art gallery maybe on the back of a couple of quilts, right?
Oh, if you want to really treat yourself, use their flannel on the back of your
They
quilt.
make flannel.
They make flannel.
They make flannel.
And it is so soft. It's my favorite thing to put on the back of
Really?
a quilt.
So when you put the flannel, we've had questions, people have asked this. I've never worked with flannel. So when you put flannel on the back of your quilt, I know that it shrinks at a different ratio than your quilting cotton. So how do you handle that? What do you do with how do you prep your flannel backing? You take it off the bolt and put it on the long arm? Really? Oh, well, okay.
And I wash with cold water.
Well, I always wash everything with cold water,
Yeah.
so I don't have to do anything special with flannel?
No.
Huh. Well,
I haven't had any issues yet. Now, if you're using a woven as your backing, I would pre-wash that. I've made that mistake once, and I will never do it again.
have you discovered brushed cotton?
Oh, it's a brushed flannel.
Oh, no. Okay, no. This is different. This is
But no, I
different.
haven't discovered brushed cotton.
The Quilter Studio in Fairfax
Yeah.
had some up. It felt like flannel, and Kathy, the owner of Quilter Studio, was like, "No, that's brushed cotton." I was
Oh,
like,
interesting.
"Oh, okay."
I'm intrigued.
I don't know the difference, but apparently there's a difference? Question mark? I don't know. So, what else do we have in the chat? I use the batiks as lining on the masks. As they wrinkled so much. We're using out gallery solids. Oh, okay. Mary is excited. So there is a pattern by Elizabeth Hartman called Panda. Oh gosh,
Oh,
here we
I
go.
love that one.
Pandas,
It's so cute.
Pandas and
And they're wearing
sweaters.
the sweater. Yes.
And I am making that quilt for her, but her job is to pick all of her fabrics, and then she has to prep and cut the fabric, and then I'm going to put it together for her, and then we'll figure out how we want to quilt it. But she chose for the pandas in the background art gallery solids.
Good choice. Good choice.
I was like, she was like, we were talking about it, I was like, I love art gallery solids. She was like, okay. And so she went and grabbed them, and that was really good. That was
Oh,
really
good choice.
Yep. How does the art gallery fabric compare to cherry wood? Katina is asking.
I don't know cherry wood.
So I can show you what cherry wood is like. I'll give you a yard, if you want to stay here.
Sure.
I'll give you a yard cut of cherry wood to hold and a yard cut of our beloved art gallery, and you can tell them what your impression or yours is, and I can tell you the little bit that I know. I just have to, there's a piece right here. This is definitely cherry wood. And now I just got to find, I might even have an art gallery. Oh, this is art gallery. I see this, and they're both from the same shelf. So,
oh, perfect.
Okay. So close your eyes. Let's do the feel test. I'll mix them up. She'll be able to tell. Okay. What does this feel like?
Not art gallery.
What does this feel like?
Art gallery.
Okay. Yeah. I was going to be like, you can totally tell. So cherry wood fabrics is hand dyed by a company in Wisconsin.
That's fun.
I don't know.
Hand dyed.
Yeah, the hand dyed fabric. I haven't worked with it. I only have 4 pieces of their fabric. They're all in the blue family because I have a problem with blues.
Okay.
I don't think that they are a direct comparison. I don't think that they're the same. You can even compare them as the same type of thing.
Yeah, I wouldn't classify. I mean, I love the coloring of this because it has the variation that you get from hand-dyed fabrics.
Yep.
But the texture is
it's not the same. It's not the same. This is, I don't know how they make the art gallery basic. I'm sure Yankum or somebody from Soyak could tell you. I don't know that much about them, but I think they go through different processes, and they're using a different fabric to start that process.
Yeah, it's definitely a very different base. Yep. So Pat Bravo, the owner of Art Gallery Fabrics, her and her husband, Walter.
Brain fart?
Walter. Brain fart. It's getting late.
It's okay. It's okay.
Spent a long time doing research to find the right base and tried a whole lot, and Pat was very particular on what she was looking for and vetoed everything until she got to this. Like, she has such high standards of quality, and it
so shows. Wait a second, I want to go back to another question. And this kind of lingers into some other comments that we've had. So I like to do the puzzle mystery quilts from Cotton Cuts. These are amazing. They're block of the month programs with die cut pieces, and they pre-select the fabric for you, make the pattern each month, you put your clues together, and they're about to start another one. And one of the things that they tell you is when you get your die cut pieces in the mail, don't add starch, don't add steam, don't add sizing, because they didn't do that before they die cut the pieces, right? And so we know that when you add sizing, it shrinks between the salvages, not the other way. And so if you have a square that was cut, 2 of your sides are going to shrink, but these 2 won't. And then you end up with miscut pieces, and your quilt's going to be wonky.
You just did a video about this,
I sure did. Yes, I did. Don't believe me? Let me show you. So we had... The reason why I bring that up is because I know people feel like the art gallery fabrics, because they have a higher thread count, are flimsy and they feel light. Because if you feel it, right?
They do feel lighter.
They feel lighter because there's more threads, but they actually I would argue because
Stronger.
they're actually stronger and hold up less to that stretching and fraying. So that even though it feels lighter, it doesn't need the treatment that maybe a lower cotton thread or a
Yeah.
lower thread count fabric would need.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hadn't even thought about that. It just literally popped in my head. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're also here to educate.
You're welcome. Art gallery feels more like Liberty to me. Are you a
Yes.
Liberty fan?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love Liberty for my English paper piecing.
Okay, I don't know how to do that.
I'll teach you that too.
Okay, listen, she's going to teach me curved piecing and EPP.
I'm so excited. Sunday.
Saturday, nope.
Nope. Sunday. I am teaching a quilt guild in Vancouver, Canada.
Are
English
you
paper
really?
piecing.
That's awesome. So we
I'm so
went,
excited.
while we were in Vegas, we stopped in at a quilt shop and I met with some subscribers while I was there. And one of the ladies that I have known for a couple of years, we had gotten some little pieces out from Brimfield Awakening.
Love them.
Washington, D.C. I met her at QuiltCon. Love her. She's tall.
Kim is so tall, and Nisha is also so sweet. I love them. I've been fans of theirs since like the very beginning.
Did you fangirl at their booth?
Girl, I have a story. Quick story. So they had a booth Quilters Unlimited used to do a show every year at the Dallas Expo Center. And the last year that they did the show, Brimfield Awakening had a booth. And I was there on the first day and I walked by and like, they know me, like I was very active talking to them on their Instagram and I've made like everything. I've bought everything they have. And they came to my quilt guild and did a show and we met them and I showed them stuff I made. And Nisha actually had to go to a funeral the next day.
Oh.
No one close to her was a guy she was seeing at the time, family member, and she's going to be supportive. And they were like, would you by chance be able to help fill in for Nisha in the booth tomorrow?
Oh, yes. Yeah. You want me to be here with y'all? Okay.
And I was like, yeah, I'd be happy to help you. And they're like, you don't have to stay all day, however long you want, anything you're able to do. We need someone who can be out there and demoing how to do it and use the products. Girl, I was there as soon as they opened until they closed. After she asked me, I went pacing the show floor, just pacing it in like my adrenaline was so high. I wasn't, I was like, am I really here? I was so happy.
Yeah.
I was so happy.
That's awesome.
It was, they're amazing.
They allowed you to represent their brand, which was really,
did.
I mean, as a business owner, as somebody that has their own brand, you know how important it is to you to have somebody represent your brand. You don't want just, that's a big deal. That's a big deal.
It was huge. So that's my Brim. If you want to try English paper piecing, you go to Brimfield.
Mary says, I am so disappointed that Quilters Unlimited went to a virtual quilt show this year. And yeah, I heard they're not coming back either.
They might. It's something they discuss it every year. And the challenge is volunteers.
Hi.
I know. I signed up.
I'll do all of the days.
They sent out a form and asked like who would volunteer, and they did not get enough response.
Maybe it was because it was right after COVID. Maybe next year will be different.
Try again next year.
Yeah.
And then I emailed some people. I was like, so I am the service unit manager for Girl Scouts in Fauquier County.
Okay.
And I was like, my girls need volunteer hours. They'd be happy to come hang quilts.
White gloves, all of them.
White gloves all around. They need the hours.
Let's show another quilt.
Yes.
We've got
We've
a
been
couple
talking
more.
for a while.
We'll go here. There we go. But
Let's
this one,
see.
yes, this one is gorgeous, and we need to show the quilting on it. So
Yes.
I
think we're just down to like baby projects.
Baby projects are great. And these are ones that I feel like we can show over there. So once we'll take the big one off and we'll just go to the main camera and we'll just show in front of this.
Oh, do you want? So I can.
Do you have one more big quilt?
I have one more big quilt.
Okay, let's do that.
You want to do that?
Yep.
So it's not in the book.
Okay. This is the only one not in the book, but we'll bring these over so that we can show them.
And it's just another chaos coordinator quilt.
Chaos coordinator. Chaos coordinator. You have not shown a specific quilt. We're going to have to talk about that.
Yeah. There's a really good story behind that.
We talked a little bit about this story before the live stream, and now I don't feel so bad. Here, I'll go. Let me show you the quilting on this one. There you go. And I just want to show you the back because I feel like the quilting pops a little bit better on the back. Super fun.
I'm standing here watching you do that instead of hanging the quilt.
Yeah, hang the quilt. They can't see you. It'll be like a grand reveal. I'll drop the quilting and your quilt will be up. Ready?
1, 2, 3, go! So this is the larger sized chaos coordinator.
Okay.
And this one's not in the book. This is the pattern that's on my website. But I usually share this at the end. So I started with my first chaos coordinator.
Sure.
Show my book. And then I show this at the end. So since I visited Art Gallery in the fall, I've had the opportunity to be making projects for their lookbooks. Oh. And this was in one of their most recent lookbooks, their checkered collection, checkered elements. And it just feels like full circle, like a full circle moment for me, of where I've come this past year. But, thread.
It's okay. Do you want the snips?
Yeah, let's take the snips to it.
It's fun when you just walk past the camera and make funny faces like this. Here you go. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Not my favorite, but pretty.
That's okay. But I loved getting to make it with this fabric because it had such a mid-century modern feel. The tweed, you know, really of the era.
Yeah.
So.
And it's another one where, like, when you take up close and in person, I see more distinction between the colors. But then on camera, you can see it looks a lot busier.
I want to show. So it does look a lot busier on camera. So I love this quilt because the more I look at it, you just find new things. I'm looking for it right now. The quilt might be sideways, but there's hearts throughout it.
Okay.
So she says. So like, there's somewhere in here where it's like the whole thing. There's hearts, and it might be upside. Oh, like there's hearts.
Oh, okay.
You see it?
Yeah.
So I really want to make one version of the quilt. Oh, like here we go. A heart. I have in my mind of where it's like white on whites, but except for where it's the hearts, and those are like pinks on pinks kind of fabrics.
Yeah, yeah.
That'd be so fun.
I don't know what it is with this one. I think with this one, I feel like it's the fabric. I don't know that I would have picked the fabric line. It's fun. I get what you were trying to do, but I would have loved to see this. I think this is one where I would have gone with the solids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it in the Ruby Star Starry, the first one I did.
Yeah, we know you love your Ruby Star.
I love my Ruby Star.
You love your Ruby Star. That's okay. Okay, so what do we have here? We've got some, here, I'll put these down so that we're not showing them yet. And for these, because the projects are so small, you can just walk them up to my phone that's up there that's recording. And we'll show, oh my gosh, the back on this one's cute. Hey, this looks like one of the blocks in your quilt.
So this one's called Mini Bloom. It is, I had to stop. I want to live in Erin's head for a day.
That's Lori.
You might be scared. So when I was making the book, I wanted to have a few attainable projects.
Sure.
So this collection, these 4 patterns are like the baby sisters of my retro bloom quilt.
Something that you could do a little bit easier if you're not ready to dip your entire body into the pool.
To try out. So this is Mini Bloom.
I love that.
It's so cute. And here's the fun back.
I love the back. And what's this one? It needs some binding.
I know.
I know somebody that will do that for you.
Oh, yes?
Yes, her name is Mary, and she lives out by you.
Oh, perfect. I might have to steal her from you during the week.
She loves to bind. Oh, this is a quilt con quilt.
It's a little sunset.
And it is matchstick quilting.
Yes. So this one
that
I did on my domestic, and it's a 1/4 inch matchstick quilting.
Oh, you got the stool right behind you. Sorry.
So that was fun. I don't know why. I've had the binding for this sitting on my ironing board for about a month. I don't know what it is and why I can't just, it's literally the only thing that's not done for this.
You know what makes me get stuff done? Knowing that I have to show people that I did stuff over the week in a video. True story. Binding included.
Yes. So speaking of a love for orange peels.
I love this one.
So this is...
I just want to rub the art color.
Right? Little orange peel pillow.
That looks great.
You see the
Yeah.
on that
And then you've
one?
got daisies on there. Little
Yes.
flowers.
Got to keep that retro
So
theme
when you
going.
made your, let's just dissect the pillow for a minute. We're going to take it out of the envelope. I have to see this. And I could have just asked you, but I think I want to show people.
Yeah.
Because I've learned this recently. Yep. Okay. So I don't know why I did that for you. But so I have learned when I've made pillows, I did it on this one.
Yeah.
Right? I've learned that to make the pillow fun, you add the batting and a backing to it, right?
I'm going to do to you.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a backing, but I know there's obviously batting.
There's definitely batting.
There's definitely batting. I don't think there's backing. But I don't know why I took it apart to be like, oh, and you quilted it. So did you put batting? No, we just drew stitches on a piece of fabric. But I learned from this one how much extra dimension you can get from a pillow when you quilt the block and then turn it into a pillow.
Yes.
I love this
one. It gives you the texture.
Yes. Yep. And this is great. I love everything about this.
And I don't always do fabric on the bottom.
So I didn't cheat.
No.
I will say the fabric makes it easier though, because with the batting, it kind of clings to your feed dogs.
Well, here's the thing. So I had just quilted something here has the rainbows on the back.
That one has rainbows.
Oh, so here's the thing. So I had quilted some big quilt. I don't remember which one.
Uh-huh.
And it had the rainbows on the back, right? And then there's enough fabric left on my long arm that I was like, I can fit a pillow and a mini
quilt.
here
Yep.
without having to set the whole thing up. And that was, yeah.
So that's what I did. I have a table runner and I have those two mini quilts that I showed you. I learned that neutrals and wide backs are your best friend, because you get like a 3-yard cut of a 108, you load it on your long arm, and you can get a quilt plus bonus projects or a few smaller projects done. Nobody necessarily cares about what's on the back, and if it's neutral, it'll go with everything.
Exactly.
So I have been in love with a lot of grays for the backs of my quilts.
Yes.
Because you get more bang for your buck.
You do.
I am learning that I am leaning into, at this season, investing only in special backs for special projects.
And it makes your quilting funds spread so much further.
Yeah, because I can load. When I loaded the long arm, I didn't have to stop to change the backing and load again between each of those projects. I just was able to keep going.
Yes.
Yep. Okay, so this is the last one, I think. But you have a bin up there.
I have a bin with some fun things in it too.
Okay, so we'll show this another bin.
So here's a small version.
Oh, and you hand quilted that too.
I hand quilted this one. So this is a teeny version of Retro Blooms.
I love it.
And
now the curves on the leaves and the petals are different than what's in the petal for the flower. The leaves are a little bit more oblong. Is that a different technique?
These guys?
No, those versus the rainbow.
Oh, yes. So these are orange peels.
Okay.
And these are inset drunkard's paths.
Okay.
So curves within curves within curves.
Okay.
But they're all just drunkard's paths.
Okay.
And then orange peels.
Louise says, pillow tops are also a great place to practice free motion quilting.
Yes. So true.
Phyllis says, I'm really not into modern quilt patterns, but every one of hers have me saying, wow.
Oh, thank you.
That's awesome.
That's
awesome.
a huge compliment.
It is. Love the pillow top, the pillow slip. I've got the book in the cart too. Awaiting payday, Honor Cobb says. Love the pillow, love the pillow, love the pillow. I ordered the book and subscribed to her channel.
Oh, thank you so much.
We've got one up here about the beach. Christy's talking about the beach.
Ooh, send me.
Yeah, right. We'll take that one for you. Love the colors and the flower quilting. The sun on the beach is awesome.
Oh, yes, that's fun.
I didn't even see that as a beach and a sun.
Yeah, that's actually what I was going for, like right over the ocean.
Yeah. Hey, can you make a dolphin quilt pattern, please?
Oh, wouldn't a dolphin look cute, like leaping?
Like, yeah, I like would like a dolphin or a whale, and everybody I know that makes patterns like, could you make me a dolphin pattern? And then if it's curved piecing, will you just make the quilt?
I will. I will. I'll just send it to you.
Sweet. That would be great. That would be great. That would be great.
I love orange. Yes. Is that Honor?
Honor Cobb, yep.
Honor Cobb. Sorry, I don't have my glasses.
You're totally fine. You're totally
I
fine.
also love orange. Can you tell?
Yep. Mary says, I love hand quilting. Haven't done it in years, but it's so relaxing, just like hand binding.
Yes.
So Mary is a good friend of mine. You've met her.
Yes,
She's
I
been
did.
on
I met her
video.
at QuiltCon.
Yes, she sits like that's Mom's chair and Mary's, but when my mom is here, this becomes Mary's chair, and so the two of them kind of sit over here.
Nice.
But for any of my quilts where I want to enter them into a quilt show, like this that's hanging up here.
Yes, I saw that. I went to the show.
Did you?
I
wasn't there in the
did.
morning because I had to work in the morning on Friday, but I had that one, and the other one that was there is actually hanging above our bed in our bedroom.
I saw that
But
one
she'll do the
too.
hand binding on
Oh.
it. She'll just sit here, and so I'll look over, and she's just like hand tacking the binding.
Nice.
I feel like I've got to pry the quilt out of her hands sometimes. She loves the hand binding so much that she wants to hand bind all of the quilts. And I'm just like, hey, this one doesn't need to be hand bound. It's okay. We're going to do this one in the machine. And I feel like if looks could kill in that moment, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But she loves that process so much. And I think that's
calming.
I haven't picked up the technique yet. She taught me how to do it, but there's something about hand stitching or hand quilting that I haven't been bit by the bug yet. And I say yet because you never know what's going to happen in 5 years or 10 years.
Exactly.
I love hand embroidery. That's something I got into at QuiltCon. I bought a couple of those beginner quilts or beginner kits, and I'm just like, oh, this is fun.
Did you do the one that's hanging up there? I like that one.
That is a gingerbread design because I love gingerbread.
Yeah,
I love gingerbread. But I did buy one of her designs for me to do, so I bought that, and I was like, oh, I want to do this. It's going to be easy. And then I got it, and I couldn't figure it out on my own. And so Mary was like, I love this woman, but sometimes I'm like, you spoil me a little too much. But she's like, I'll do that for you. And I was like, no, you don't have to do it. You don't have to do it. She was like, well, are you going to do it? I was like, no. And so she took it and she did it for me in like a week. And she brought it back. And so that has a very special meaning to me because she did it, but also because of the message behind it. So no, I did not do that one, but I do have a couple of projects that I am working on and I love doing those. But a year ago, 2 years ago, if you would have asked me if I would like doing hand embroidery, I'd be like, you're out of your mind. So maybe this time next year, I will be doing hand quilting or hand binding. You don't know.
Yeah, you don't
know. Maybe I'll be doing pro stitcher. You don't know.
You spend enough time with me, you'll probably start
Maybe I'll be doing
big
EPT.
stitch quilting.
Oh, I want to try that actually. That looks like a lot of fun.
It is.
Yeah. I think my problem with the hand quilting, big stitch or otherwise, is my stitches aren't straight and they aren't even, and I don't know how to fix that.
I can teach you.
Oh, look at this.
That's
She's got all the
what
classes.
I teach.
Subscribe to her YouTube channel. She'll teach you there.
Yes.
She'll teach you there. Okay, so let's see what's in your bin because it is getting close to 10 o'clock.
Yes. I would like, so I know there's one that you really want to see, but I'd rather start with a different one.
You start with whatever
and I'm
you
going to
want.
hang it up.
Oh, yeah, okay. I'll switch the camera. Here we go. We're going to put this on you. Instead of Mary doing an embroidery kit for you, she should have taught you how to do it. Actually, Mary has taught me how to do it, and I am working on them now. So when we were at QuiltCon, she did try to teach me that one, and I got frustrated with it, and so I was just like, no, I got to walk away. And so I walked away from it, and she took it, but I told her I wanted to learn. And so while we were at QuiltCon, we bought a couple. Do you need help?
Yeah, this one's big.
While we were at QuiltCon, we bought a couple of embroidery kits, and she sat down. We were in the hotel room, and she taught me how to get started in some of the basics. And because of that, I am now working on my own. Oh my gosh, this is stinking adorable.
So I'd love to tell you about this one.
Yeah.
This is a special,
I'm
special
blocking the view.
quilt. called Apparently It's a Party. I guess I like puns.
Apparently, it's a
Apparently
party.
it's a party.
Oh, I love this.
So this quilt is for a quilting cruise.
Oh, quilting cruise. Tell me more.
So I am the instructor for a quilting cruise in January of 24
Oh, wow.
to the Caribbean. And
I just moved the whole thing. Keep talking.
so on the cruise, we're going to be making this quilt, and I'm going to be teaching you curves. So by the end of the cruise, you'll be a curves master.
Wait. So hold up. Let me just make sure I get this correct. I think what I am hearing is that I can go on a boat
Yes.
to the Caribbean,
Yes.
quilt,
Yes.
or I'm sorry, sew, and not do any curve piecing before then, and you will teach me.
Correct.
Oh, sign me up.
Please come join me on the beach in Aruba.
Who else wants to sit on the beach in a robe? I'm just sewing today. So tell me the details on that. How did this happen? Talk to me about, Mary and I have talked about quilting cruises, and this is something that I don't know if the timing works out, but it's something that's been on our bucket list to try. So why, how do you sign up? Why are you doing it?
Yeah.
All the things.
So my local quilt shop, Quilting Essentials and More in Warrenton, Virginia.
I don't know that one. I need to go by.
Yes, you must come visit. We can have lunch.
Oh, awesome. Done.
Um,
Oh, that's the lady about the art gallery fabric from.
no.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Never mind. Continue.
But also a lovely shop.
Okay.
She asked me, it feels like it was a long time ago now, maybe a year ago, because I've been teaching at her shop. If I'd be interested in doing a quilting cruise. And so she submitted my name to, there's a company that does it. It's Quilting Adventures by Michelle. And so we've been talking about it back and forth for like a year. And I said yes. And they asked me to design a quilt for it. So this is what I came up with. And yeah, so in January of 24, this is also, Art Gallery sponsored this by providing me with the fabrics to make the quilt top. And they also provided some bundles for me to raffle off and give away while on the cruise. And I feel like there's more to say. So yeah, on the cruise, oh, I'm so excited. Okay, so on the cruise, you don't bring your own machine. Janome machines are provided for us, and they're not like your basic entry-level machines. They're nicer, higher-end machines. And you don't have to wind any of your own bobbins. There's a bobbin boy. And you just go, oh, bobbin boy. I love this. I love this. In my head, I'm hearing from Greece. You know, and then she goes, oh, baby, my sweet baby. So that's, I don't know remember what she says before that, but in my head, that's the tone.
Bobbin boy.
Bobbin boy.
Okay. We've got a couple questions in the chat. Let me ask the questions.
Please.
So the first, we've gotten Aruba. Yes.
Yes, Aruba.
Yes. Question for Erin. Does she use a curve master?
What's a curve master?
Okay, so the answer to that is no. Becky says, if we get angry at our project on a cruise, will it hurt the environment if it gets tossed overboard? Asking for a friend, LOL.
Cotton
is a natural occurring.
It's a natural fiber and does disintegrate over time. So I think it'll be okay for the ocean.
And Diane says, quilting cruise, add me in.
Yes, please come and join me.
After the quilt cruise, will you make the pattern available to the general public like us?
Yes, I do plan on eventually releasing it. I don't know what my contract is with how long I have to wait, but I do plan on releasing it.
Hetty says, I have a circle cutter that cuts the fabrics out in circles, many different sizes. I am afraid to use it. Is sewing circles really hard?
No, it's actually so much easier. Girl, okay, so we were talking earlier about different learning styles.
Yeah.
So when I teach curves, I teach 3 different ways to do them.
Okay.
Because you would think using pins makes it easier. I can't sew a curve with pins.
Okay, thank you.
I
Because
can't do it.
I couldn't figure it out. I tried multiple drunkards pass. It was not lining up.
I can't do it with
Okay.
pins. So I do a no pin method.
Okay.
And then the third way I teach is with glue.
Okay. Let's get back to this quilting cruise.
Yes.
Does Bob and Boy serve beverages too?
Well, food is included
So
on the cruise,
maybe?
and you can upgrade to a drinking package.
There you go. So all right, let's just cut to the nitty gritty because
Yes.
people are going to want to know if they're interested in signing up for the cruise.
Yes.
When talk to me about the prices and the cabins and the ship and the number of days and all the things.
Yes, so it's an 8-day cruise.
Oh my gosh.
Leaving out of Fort Lauderdale.
Oh my gosh.
And it's the rooms, everything included in the package, including your taxes, your gratuity. It's all included in the package, and it starts at like $2,000. And that covers your food and everything.
Okay.
And it includes the quilt kit that comes pre-cut for you by me.
Oh, fun. So no cutting needed.
Yeah.
Sit and sew.
Sit and sew, talk, enjoy. We only sew on days that the ship is out and moving. It's sailing,
While you're
if
at
you will,
sea.
while you're at sea. Thank you. Are your sew days? So there's about, I think, 4 or 4.5 days of sewing time, and all the rest of the time it's do as you want. And we sew. The sewing room opens at like 9 in the morning, and class ends at 4. And then you are welcome to either go enjoy a show, or you can stay and do open sew, bring other projects with you if you'd like.
So it's really mixing the best of both worlds, right?
Yes.
So I've heard people say, Donna's been one of them, and I kind of agree with her, right? Like, if you're going to go on a cruise, you don't want to go on a quilting cruise because then you're afraid you're never going to go see the ports, you're never going to go do the work. But it sounds like the way yours is planned is that's not even possible.
Yeah.
Because there is no sewing on days where the boat is docked. You get off your butt, you get out, you enjoy the sights, you go and explore, you
Yes.
do the thing. The quilting is reserved for the days where you're at sea as another form of entertainment, something that you can do for part of or all of the day and or night.
Correct.
Okay, that sounds great. So January 2004, 8-day cruise. What does it look like to sign up? Is there a deposit? Do you pay in full? When does all that have to happen?
Yeah. So if you go on my website, at the very top of my website, you'll see a button that says something about my quilting cruise. If you click on that, it'll bring you to Quilting Adventures by Michelle's website, the page with all the information for my cruise. And you can pay, she has payment plan options, so you can do a deposit and then pay the remainder later. Sign-ups close in July. So
you got to act quick.
So you
At
gotta
least
act
sign up
quick to
for
sign
it.
up. Yep.
Okay, sign up for it. How many people do you have signed up right now? Is it a decent sized group going?
So we have 17 people currently signed up.
Okay.
Minimum of 30.
Okay.
And a max of 40.
So you have 23 more spots available.
Yep.
But it sounds like you need 13 more.
I need 13 more.
Otherwise, it's
Otherwise, we're not going to be able to hold
not
the
this
cruise.
year. It'll have to be
It'll
a
have to
different
be
year.
pushed to a different year.
Okay.
But come with me. Let's go do this.
I don't know if I have the vacation time, but I want to make it happen.
Right? I mean, technically it's January 24th. That's a whole different year, so your hours reset.
It's
No.
my travel for 24 is already planned. Like, I'm looking at 25 now.
I see. I understand this problem.
But we can all, I mean, those are all things that we can talk about later too.
Yes.
So, because this is way too much information, but I'm also excited about, like, I would like to be able to go to a retreat that, whatever. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
More to come. I have ideas for a retreat, and I already told Erin about some of this. So Erin,
Yes.
Mary, and I think Donna's been in on some of those conversations too. So more details to come. Sounds fun. Quilting cruises are amazing. You get to do both sewing and touristy things. What experience level should you be to participate in the sewing on the cruise? Erica wants to know.
Have you made a quilt before?
So
So basically,
press the pedal on the machine.
if you can sew a 1/4 inch, you can do this.
And it doesn't have to be a perfect 1/4 inch. It has
Yeah.
to be a consistent seam.
Consistent 1/4 inch.
You're consistent, whatever your seam allowance is.
Yep. So one of the things about my quilting patterns, my templates, I build in a lot of excess into my curved templates because I want my patterns to be accessible.
Okay.
And so you can make a not perfect drunkard's path, and there's enough squaring up room in there that you can make it look like you made a perfect drunkard's path.
Oh.
And so that's always my goal,
Okay.
to make accessible.
So you said the machines are supplied for you. There's a bobbin boy.
Yes.
So you obviously have your thread, you have your kit.
Yep.
There's probably ironing stations.
Yep.
What if I were to go on your quilting cruise? What are the supplies I would need to bring? What should I pack?
Bring your rotary cutter.
Okay.
Your favorite 6-inch ruler or 6.5 inch,
Whatever your go-to ruler is.
Your go-to ruler. Seam ripper.
No, we don't bring those on cruises. We throw it overboard when it doesn't work.
And snips.
Okay.
I mean, really, and that's it. Threads provided for you. Irons are provided for you.
And you probably can't use an iron because it's a ship anyway. And a lot of times those can get banned. So
Oh, really?
yeah, I've seen lots of videos where they're like, these are the things. Don't bring your hair dryer. Don't bring your curling iron.
Interesting.
So that might be bad. I don't know. I've never.
Maybe
been on
they
one.
have a special arrangement.
Maybe I don't know.
I was not told that I have to bring a seam roller.
Pat Strawhouse is considering very strongly. She said, I'm budget crunching. Need to check the airfare from Toronto. That's awesome.
Another fun Canadian.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
That's amazing. Yeah.
I'm excited to hang out with my Canadians on Sunday.
Yep. I think that's it. So it is right just a few minutes after 10. Oh my goodness. I feel like we could keep
do you
talking.
want me to pull out the one last little thing?
Yeah, let's pull out the one last little thing.
Because I feel like you need this redemption.
I need this redemption. I know what this redemption is. So Erin, for those of you that don't know, and I'm sure you probably already do, Erin published a pattern called Radical Cassettes. And she reached out to me and said, hey, would you like to do a sew along? And I went, yes, of course. And so I fell in love with the pattern. I was like, yeah, I want to do that. I knew it felt a little challenging to me because of the curved piecing. And she gave me the pattern for free. I bought my own fabric to do. And I got Mary cut it all for me. She starched it, got everything ready. I couldn't figure out how to get started. My brain wasn't working. And the way you had the block of the month laid out, it was make one cassette every week, but I couldn't figure out how to make step 1. And so I felt like I was just falling behind. And so I made a executive decision before I left for Vegas that I was taking that quilt and I was going to put a pause on it. I wasn't stopping, but I was going to put a pause on it, and I would reevaluate what I wanted to do with it after I got back from Vegas and everything was settled down, because it is a quilt I want to make. It's just the curved piecing is throwing me off a little bit.
Step 1.
It's step 1. Step 1 is make a drunkard's path, and I'm like, a drunk what? So it was step 1, and you have to do step 1 every single week. So I felt very overwhelmed. And also, and we talked about this, the way the pattern is structured, it's cut out for the entire quilt kit. So I was having a hard time understanding which of the fabrics that I cut do I need for one cassette.
Yep.
So I thought a little bit about it, and I'm not sure how I wanted to move forward. So we were talking about that. Go ahead. That's my backstory. This is her Radical Cassettes quilt.
From the quilt along.
These are all the blocks that she has made. All one of them. Which, gosh, isn't that cute? Can I just have your block?
Right?
Like, I'm done.
So I wish I had broken up the sew along into sections.
I think that would have been better.
In the quilt.
Yeah.
So I made all of these sections for the bottoms of the block.
Yeah, I think that would have probably, I mean, that's good food for thought for the next one.
Yeah, live and learn. And then get loves.
Yep. Then get loves. Live and learn and then get loves. Or depending on how old you are. Loves might not fit me anymore.
So yeah, I got a lot of drunkard's paths happening in here.
Can I just have those and then I'll be done? That's what I can't get started with.
Little chain piecing of drunkard's paths.
That's awesome. So what I'm hearing is the pattern designer who hosted the quilt along didn't even finish the quilt.
Listen, I was also writing a book at the
Hey,
time.
that's okay. I was doing all the things too. So do you have plans to finish it?
I do. So I'm on a quilt retreat right now.
Is that what you're working on your
So
retreat?
this is what I'm going to be
Oh
working
my
on.
gosh.
Today it was finishing the parrots.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And I finished them just before leaving to come here.
Okay.
And then tomorrow I'm going to finish this guy.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So I don't feel so bad for not starting. She hasn't finished. And now the challenge is going to be, will I start before she finishes?
Yes.
I don't know.
I have a killer pillow happening right here.
You have a killer, like honestly, I was telling her before, I'll share with you because there's no secrets in this room. I feel like I could just make 2 of these and turn them each into pillowcases for my New Kids on the Block cruise in October.
Yes.
I can make one for me, one for my friend Karen, and just be done.
I love
No
it.
quilt. We'll just have pillowcases.
I think they'd be cute pillows.
They would be. There would be. I feel like we need to have a pencil for the cassette tape.
Yes. So I had this idea in my head. So, and I'm going to do it sometime. But if you look at the pattern, oop, wrong hand. Everything's backwards. I feel like I need to turn some of these stripes into pencils.
Have them go into the side. Oh my gosh. Did you also do the thing with the cassette tapes where when you got it tangled in the cassette tape player, you'd pull it out and you learned how to splice and tape the tape on the tape?
Oh,
Did you do that? Oh,
I never.
I got so good that like when the tape player ate the tape, I could take it out and untangle it, and then I could splice it with like a box cutter and a very little tiny bit of tape, put it back together and clean it up, and you just get like a fraction of a second that would skip with no sound.
Worth it.
But I mean,
still had the tape.
You just got 4 O's instead of 5 O's.
I would be like, oh man, I can't ever hear that song again.
Oh no, I made it work. I made it work. And then you use the pencil to wind it back up because oh gosh, I got that. And it would tangle on itself.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, cassette tapes. Those
try
are
to
the
use
days.
gravity to kind of get it like get it to untangle.
Yep, get it untangled. Oh gosh. Did you also do the trick where when you were done with a tape or you just didn't really like the cassette, you put the tape over those little notches so you could record over it? And then you just wrote with like a marker?
Yes. All the mixed. Girl, radio would be playing. I'm like, okay, we gotta get this timer just right.
Stop talking, DJ.
Just right. And go. Yes.
You'd always get that one TJ too late at night who'd be like, it's just talking into the microphone, like
starting.
And over like the first 5 or 10, sometimes 30 seconds.
They were doing it on purpose.
They were. Oh, they were. They totally were. They liked to hear themselves talk. And also, they wanted to be on your mixtape forever and a day.
They did.
You know, somewhere out there, somebody's got mixtapes and it's like, and this next one goes out to Johnny from Sarah. And you're just like, stop.
Yes.
And then the song comes out and it's like Muskrat Love or some stupid stuff.
100%.
100%.
100%.
Oh my gosh.
One of my pattern testers, oh, I love this story, told me that she got in trouble because she was recording her music all over her mother's gospel tape. So, as a so I sent all of my pattern testers little thank you baskets.
Oh, that's so kind.
And one of the things inside of them, I went to my local thrift store and I found cassette tapes and I spray painted them gold and I wrote Radical Quilter and their name on it, like a little trophy.
So fun.
And I made sure that for her, I got a gospel tape.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
and
awesome.
I sent her spray painted gospel tape. And I was like, tell your mom I said sorry.
That's so funny. We had to learn splicing of tapes and film in teachers' collars. Yes, I'm vintage. They wanted you to buy the tape. Erin, you are 20 subscribers away from 100 subs on your YouTube channel.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Thank
look
you
at
so
that.
much.
And the replay will catch some more tomorrow. So if you are watching this on replay, all of those links are for you in the description box down below for her website, for her Instagram, for her book, for her cruise, and for her YouTube channel, which doesn't have content yet, but will be
Very
coming
little.
soon.
Very little content on there right
Little
now.
content. More to come soon.
Yes.
So if you guys are interested in any of this, if you enjoy enjoyed anything, any of the content that was brought here tonight, the best way you can say thank you to Erin is to follow her on Instagram at Love So Modern, follow her on YouTube, Love So Modern. Check out her book for pre-order on her website, lovesomodern.com. And if you've got the money to spare and the time available for travel and you're looking at a quilting cruise, she needs 13 more people to sign up, and she would
Yes.
like to be able to make that a reality.
Yes.
So check all those things out. Any last words before we end the live stream tonight?
No, just thank you so much, Becky,
Oh,
for having me here. This
yeah,
has been so
absolutely.
much fun. It was totally worth ditching my retreat for.
So, question about your retreat. When is
Yes.
the last day? When do you go back home?
Sunday.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
it started this morning at 9 a.m. and
That's a quick retreat.
yeah,
And you left part of it to come here and
I
hang out with us.
did. I like
That's
you.
how much she loves you.
Thank you.
Thank you, friends, so much for hanging out with us. Don't forget to check out all of Erin's social media. Donna should be live tonight. I apologize, I can't do the dumping thing right now, but if somebody wants to put the link for Donna's channel in the chat so that you guys can go check her out. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here because we're ending the live. So we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.
All right, now I gotta find the mouse. Oh, it's way on the floor. Hello.
It's hiding under the pillows.
Yeah, this is usually a lot more smooth, but then I'm like, no, okay, here we go. Bye.